Today we are going to answer your questions because every day I miss out on question and answer. So I thought today I will take out time and we can do this every week once. Okay, so Simbat comment. I don't think we can put in this comment. Okay, so my peace lily is not flowering. So first of all, I would like to tell for everyone's knowledge what is peace lily plant. Peace lily is a plant which you can keep in low light and it comes with a white flower. It is one of the very few flowering plants which are indoors, so peace lily and anthurium. And they can flower indoors because they are not true flowers. I mean, they are flowers, but like you'll see, they have one petal, a leaf turns color, and things like that. So, peace lily, there are two things which are very important with peace lily to flower. Firstly, your watering has to be perfect. You can't let it dry too much and no overwatering at all. But I mean, for most plants, no overwatering rules always apply. But for plants like peace lily, you also have to make sure that you can't let it dry for too long. So you have to always water on time, the right time. So keep checking about the soil getting dry. The other important thing is nutrition. So I mean, we are from Lazy Gardener, so that's a disclaimer. But I get a lot of people who say bloomstick help their peace lily bloom. And one of the fundamental reasons we have to understand when it comes to nutrition is uh, plants need certain uh, nutritions for growth of leaves and a different set of nutritions for growth of flowers. So a balanced plant food, especially the bloomstick is meant for blooming, will really help your plant get out of that dormancy. If your plant has been doing healthy, it has been getting a lot of leaves, but it has not been getting flowers, that clearly means there is a dormancy or just a state of status quo. And we need to change that by providing it with nutritions that are required for making a flower. So those are the two things. Firstly, uh, make sure about watering because that's very important. And the second would be the nutrition. Hi Ritushi, welcome. No problem. Nothing is late. Hi Krishna. Hi Raza. Pet plants and all. Okay. Sunita is loving the rain with chai. It's pouring in Chennai. Zumana says, Charmisha says, hi. Where are the questions? बड़ का अच्छा बड़ का पेड़ होगा bud is bargad, right? Am I being wrong? Neelam Singla. When you say bud ka ped, that I think means bargad. New leaves nahi aa rahe hain. Why? Let's talk about this. And if it is bargad, it is ficus. People is also ficus. Your rubber plant is ficus. Your fiddle leaf fig is ficus. Fiddle leaf fig is called Ficus lyrata. Rubber plant is Ficus elastica. Why this is important to understand that it's ficus? Because as I said yesterday, when we understand a family, we understand their basic characteristics. So, and why I'm saying this right now is because what I'm going to answer might be for bargad, but it is going to apply to your house plants, be it rubber plant or be it your fiddle leaf fig or be it your ficus bonsai. So, couple of reasons why plants do not get new leaves. One, as we discussed, nutrition, and I can say get green sticks. That will help, no doubt about it. But a couple of other things that you can try at home is first, current location that is not helping the plants. Then the second thing is just trim the all the branches a bit. This works great for both Bougainvillea and ficus varieties and all. Whenever you are not seeing growth, right, try trimming everything, right? This is assuming your plant is otherwise totally healthy, well fed, you are giving it nutrition and all, right? Trimming, and you don't have to do massive trimming. You can just trim like this much, and that will help. Tick, 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 across. Actually, I have a plant. I also have a plant which is not doing well. So after we are done with this, at 4:30, I'll get that plant in. It's just here, and I was thinking to trim it and do it well. Fertilizer of snake plant growth, green sticks. Should I just get green sticks and bloom stick here? Today seems like it will be an advertisement day. My lemongrass plant has dried up. How do I make it green again? Krishna Nagrecha. Lemongrass plant, now is the season for it to grow. So it must have become dry in December, January, February. But now is the time for it to grow, and it will grow well. And give me 1 second, I'll show you something. Okay, I'm back. So that reminded me of another question. How do you know any plant? Will it grow or not? Right? That's one of the first questions we need to answer before we try to understand how do I make it grow. Now, for a plant like this is croton. Now, how do we go about determining whether this plant is going to survive or not? Any thoughts, anything, or exactly what will I do or what should I do to make it thrive again? Just put in comments. I'm coming again in a second. Okay. Look for green stems to check, scratch the stem and see. You should check the channel out. You will. Hello, if it is stem green on scratching below. Okay. Okay. So that is perfect, perfect, perfect. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to look at the stem. We are going to scratch it. Right. Normally you can do it with nail and all. This one, the okay. So it is green, even though it might look brown to you, but when you scratch, you'll know. It basically means that there is greenishness there, but as I scratched, I saw the green layer peel off. So this was the peeled one. It's not visible. Okay. Now after this, what do we do? After this, what should we do? After this, firstly, what we need to do is we need to go and just remove these leaves. Now, I'm not doing anything forceful. I just move my hand like this. Anything which is totally dry, totally crisp will go away. Note that at times, most of the times you will have certain leaves remaining, let them be there. You don't have to shake them off fully. You just have to see that anything loose, anything which is not going to grow back, which is already crisp, that we need to take off. Now, after this, what I like to do is I like to trim a bit from the top. This one. Okay. So we checked the stem. We found it was green. Then we removed any leaves which were already dried out, right? They were just stuck there because status quo, right? Then we just trimmed it out. And now we need to till the soil. We need to loosen the soil. So this is a time that we should make this pot the best possible time that the plant has been in, right? Actually, I was planning to do this because I thought now is perfect time to start showing that today is Thursday, what happens in 7 days with this plant, and what happens in 14 days and 21 days with this plant, because at least I can monitor it that much. So I've loosened the soil. Now I will water it. Okay. And this is a good time to just wash this, the stem. Okay. We're washing the stem. We're going to how to increase the growth of my aloe vera plant. Scratch the node a bit and water the plant. And 0 is perfect. Now we're going to just. Now this is not the right way to water. I will be putting water from what do you say, a bottle later. Right now I didn't get because I didn't know we'll be doing this. And then I just put a couple of green stick. So this is my general schedule of reviving. It's a 8-inch pot, so I take 3 of them. The soil is not soft enough. Okay. So this is my schedule of reviving a plant. We will monitor it, we will look at it, and we will look how it progresses. Perfect. Okay, what are the other questions? Wait a second, my laptop has got all muddy. Okay. Is the quality of water a factor? Here we get hard water. Sunita Menon is asking. Minal says, I need a fresh stock of bloomstick. When and how can I get them? Manoj will answer, but basically, just the day after lockdown ends, I think we are going to spend 2 nights just shipping all the orders, and we'll make sure that within 2 days from the lockdown opening, we are able to ship everything out. Shivam Singla, hi, please tell about creepers. Also, which creepers are best for summers? I love Madhumalti. So I would say the best plant as creeper would be Madhumalti. If you have sun, right? Madhumalti would need a lot of sun. Otherwise, indoors, I would say money plant is there, wandering Jew is there. These two would really do well. And we have philodendron neon heart, which we have seen. So these would do well. Okay, let me go from top because I was going from top. Peace Lily, we have answered. Lemongrass, Krishna, we answered. So lemongrass, our question's answer was basically, now is the time, just keep watering it. It's seasonal thing. Sunita Roop Chandani has a very good question. What about the question that were posted earlier in other webinar? We are compiling them and be making video on it. So the idea for a live is I answer questions of people who are here. The other questions that I get, I am just compiling them, trying to make videos so that we can put it out and whoever asked is able to see it. My plants are getting web. How to stop it in this quarantine? Ankur Agarwal. This is actually one of the very big problems. Honestly, this is the reason why I don't grow marigold anymore. Because half the bud squirrels eat and then half the plants get died because of this web. So I'm like, it's no fun. Uh, Firstly, isolate that plant from everyone else. That's very important. I'm just wondering, is this the kind of web you're talking about in which the plant dies? Or it's a general web? Because if the general web in the indoors, the web that you have, which I have not had luckily, and thank God for that, but indoors you have to do it the same way as you do it for your home. Vacuum it or remove it from jharu and move forward. For plants, I think it's more about identifying that early on and trying to identify that early on and trying to remove at the egg stage. That's the best for most pest control. And then why we say spray with soap water, the idea is same as what we are doing right now with hand wash and all. Also, it suffocates the bugs and they die in a couple of hours, and we have to stop the life cycle. So one thing that you really need to understand with pest is we are dealing with two things. We are dealing with the insect, and then we are dealing with the eggs or the life cycle of that insect. And that's why for any pest control, it takes about 3 to 4 applications over 2 months. Oh, over 2 weeks. Sorry, over 2 weeks. Because when right now we apply any solution, it's going to probably be very effective to eradicate all pests. Let's assume that. Though that will not happen, but let's assume that. But then still there were eggs which will now hatch. And now we want to attack them before they lay eggs. But even attack them before they lay eggs, they would have laid some eggs already. Then we have to attack them before they lay eggs. So that's the reason it will. So before you say any method is effective or not effective, you may need to make sure that you apply it, let's say 4 times at a gap of 3 to 4 days each. That's very important. How to take care of Tulsi and aloe vera? Sunita Rupchandani is asking. Both these plants love sun. Okay. Tulsi will do very well in sunlight. Mm, the biggest challenge that happens is, and why people are, say, must be struggling with Tulsi right now. During winters, it becomes too cold for Tulsi. That's why, there's a custom of covering the Tulsi with a chunni in religious practices. Or you'll see that a lot of households, they cover the Tulsi during winters. That is to protect the plant from winters or the cold. And if you're not doing that, what would happen is your Tulsi would just shed all the leaves and be very leggy, as what we say, or woody. A lot of wooden, this is there, what do you say, stems. So right now, couple of things: give it water, give it sun. Sun is important for Tulsi, right? And trimming, I would say trim your Tulsi. Uh, and next time when winters come, cover it, right? Because the amount of questions I've got this winters about Tulsi, it's unimaginable. I really realized one thing, that a lot of people not only keep Tulsi, but they track it very well to know when it's doing well and when it's not doing well. So that's great. We have also done one video. It is on our Instagram though. It is about how you can use Tulsi leaves in the best manner in your drink, how to drink it. So interestingly, putting Tulsi leaf in chai is not the right way, because we should not mix Tulsi leaves with milk. Check out that video. It's not by me. It's by Anuradha. I'm forgetting her second name. It's by Anuradha. She has an Instagram handle by Indian Goddess _ yoga. So she talks about benefits of Tulsi according to Ayurveda and how we should have it. Harpreet Kaur, how do we repot and divide Raphis palm? Okay, very interesting question. That brings us to a concept that I've created myself, and it is called as self-propagating plants. So whenever I get this question, I mean, even internally as a team, when we are sitting and thinking, and say somebody says we should talk about propagation, and they're like, let's talk about snake plant propagation. And while I know we can propagate snake plant, and I would love to teach you how to propagate snake plant, but snake plant is something what I would call as a self-propagating plant. What happens is the plant in itself starts producing small pups. Let me show you one here. It's here so I can show you. Do you see this? Do you see this new one? This is a new pup coming out. Right? Now, I didn't do anything for that. Just because it had space, it is producing a new plant in itself. And this is what I call as self-propagating plants. Now, Raphis palm is similar. Let me show you for Raphis also. You see this Raphis palm? This is my Raphis palm. Yesterday when I was saying that is a small one. This goes up to ceiling, and here we come down. Can you see? I'm not sure. Okay. Do you see this one? This one just started coming out about a couple of weeks back. And how is it coming? It's coming from root. Here, a new plant is getting made. It's coming here. The same with this one. It started going on its own. So, what I call as self-propagating plants are which divide on their own inside at the root system, and they'll give you a new root, a new shoot. So, be it snake plant pups, be it Song of India, be it Raphis palm. So, what you need to do is you need to find these. You have to wait when these new plants become a bit bigger, then dig it out for repotting the plant, and then cleanly divide it. If it's joint, use a clean knife to cut the node. Don't cut the roots. There will be something connecting them that you can cut. But each one of them would have separate roots, which you should not cut. Okay, so that's how you repot and multiply your Raphis palm. Do we use bloomstick or green stick for peace lily? Bloomstick. I'm not able to grow mint. Why is Numana? How is everyone's mint doing? Actually, that's one question I wanted to know. How is everyone's mint doing? Because mine is doing well. And I'm happy about it. Because at least one thing that we started together is happening for me. And how do you know your mint is doing well? Is when it starts getting new leaves. Just like I said in repotting, when we have transferred the mint into the bigger pot, all I'm looking for is it getting new leaves? That's the only concern I have, right? And I have put in just one stem in each pot, 6-inch pot. I really hope by summer it fills the pot with mint, and that will be amazing. Meenal also say, acha Meenal, we had taken your question. That's a good question. Can you give a list of, Sunita asks, low light plants which are big no-no to be kept in balcony which gets slight sunlight but not direct sunlight? Actually, there's none of them that I can think of. When you get direct sunlight, then there are a lot of plants which will get sunburned. They'll get brown spots and they'll get sunburned. But if you have indirect sunlight, like a filtered sunlight shade, even a plant like snake plant or syngonium and ZZ money plant, everyone loves some amount of sunlight, indirect, filtered. So just think of it as a brighter uh, area that you're keeping in because it's not getting direct sun. I can't really think of any plant that's a strict no to keep. We can go about talking about, like, say, ferns. We can say ferns love humidity and probably outside you're not getting humidity. But just if I have to talk about the light factor, every plant which is you're keeping indoors would love a bright corner in your balcony without sun. Without sun is the criteria. Without sun. So I'll give you an example. What happens? Money plant, when you keep indoors, it might grow in length, leaves would be small. It might go bushy and long, but the leaves would be small. When you put it in shaded, indirect sunlight, the leaves enlarge. If you give it a strong support, actually, this is one very important thing for money plant to have big leaves. Its root system needs to have a solid support. That's why you'll see the biggest leaves that money plants have is when they're climbing against a tree. They've gripped the tree so well, or against a wall. They're not generally when we have planted them, but when they on their own they go, and those are all semi-shaded areas. Yeah. How to make snake plants bushy? Same thing. Don't put a lot of water in it, like once a month, and let it self propagate. Right. It will take time. So either you can start with 5-6 plants and then move them into one pot, which is actually what this is. I mean, these are not one plants into this, there are multiple plants into one big pot. So yeah, and feed it well and water less. Important. Dieffenbachia plant is having folded leaves. Dieffenbachia is dumb cane. It's a dumb cane plant that we have. So what I'm understanding is the leaves are not unfolding, right? If the leaves are not unfolding, just look at. Actually, I'm going to come back with a very vague answer and say there's something lacking. Most probably, I would say water is lacking for the plant. Okay, because generally, the folding of leaves in many plants is a way to conserve water. So if a plant is not unfolding, like in syngonium, pink syngonium, we find that the plants are not unfolding. That generally happens when it's cold or it's lacking water. So I would say either it's lacking water, light, or nutrition, but I would go highest probability here being water. But you are the best judge. Don't overwater. Just check if the soil is dry or not, and only go after that. Sangeeta Devra is asking, my methi seeds have not germinated yet. Please help. Do one thing, Sangeeta. I think we had this discussion earlier with you. I'm not sure. Take a pot. Forget everything. Now, take a pot. On top of that, put methi seeds. On top of that, don't do anything. Don't do anything on top of that. Right? And just water it. Water it twice a day. Right? Put it in a shaded area in your balcony. And that's it. Okay? That will get you germinated methi. It will first grow microgreens. You will have a choice. You can cut it. You can eat it at that time. If you don't, it will grow into methi. Okay? Chitra Vijay, very important question. My pothos grows well in water, and when I pot it, starts to dry up. Because you don't have to do that. That's why. She's asking why. Once your plant starts growing in water, I'm not saying rooting. Rooting happens when it is just like 1 week, 10 days. You have just started to see the roots, right? But when you have developed a proper root system in water, then don't move it to soil. Don't. It will not survive. Because now your plant has become bigger, but it's going into soil effectively with zero root system. So that cannot happen, right? Methi Jan, the same point about methi. Put it in a pot, sprinkle it on top of the pot. Don't worry about anything now. Oh, first just loosen the soil. Sorry, Sangeeta Devra, for you also. Loosen the soil a bit, pat the soil down, just put methi seeds on top of it and water it. Don't do anything else. Put it in a shaded corner in your balcony. That's it. Okay. Oh, Manoj is picking out questions I didn't know. He's trying to identify the questions I need to answer. Raza A, do we need to do the same for coriander seeds? Raza, look at my video. It's on YouTube itself. Just if it's long for you, just forward it and look at the first part. For coriander, you have to soak it in water and you also have to split the seeds into two. So split the seeds into two, soak it in water for 24 hours, and then move it to soil. So that is very important, very important. How to protect animals from rats and squirrels? I have no clue. So, well, actually, if you, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, where your plants are. Are they in ground? You have a garden, or you don't have a garden, and you have to identify why they are coming. They don't come for plants; they come for something else. They find the plants and then they start eating them. That's what happens. So you have to eliminate. Like I'll tell you what I was discussing with somebody a couple of months back. So they used to have a garbage bin near the garden, and essentially they would found out that the rats and everyone were coming for the garbage bin, but whenever the flowers were blooming, they would also pick up those. Another very important thing, especially when it comes to monkeys and rats, and I think is trained behavior. What happens is, like, say, if you're growing carrot or something like a root vegetable. Now, if once monkey starts taking out the plant and it starts getting rewarded, then it's going to do it for every plant, irrespective whether there's something below or not. So what happens sometimes is you'll find that your neighbor has a vegetable garden with root vegetables. They've destroyed that. Then they come to your place expecting the same to happen. So those are a couple of things. Manoj, let's note this question. We'll do a video on this list of plants that can be grown in water. But I'll just tell you briefly some of them. Wandering Jew is there, money plant is there, many varieties of philodendron, uh, this Monstera adenosi. I think yesterday somebody gave that name. Syngonium is there, and besides this, also there are a lot of them. Like purple heart, I think you can grow in water, but it won't make sense unless I show you the plant. I know it will not make sense for most people. I mean, even for me, I know the plant and I can say the name, but if somebody says the name, even if I have seen the plant, I can't link the two. Like purple heart, very recently I came to know it's called purple heart because we had abundance of that. So I have found the only names that the only plants whose name is the ones you don't have at home. The ones you have at home, you don't know the names because you have them. The ones you don't have at home, you see it online, you get to know the name so that you will get it from nursery. That's a very interesting thing that I have found. Will Bougainvillea grow from stem cutting? Bougainvillea does grow from stem cutting. The rooting of Bougainvillea is a bit tricky or patience ones. Do one thing. If you're going to cut Bougainvillea, bring a cutting. Just take off most of the things from the bottom, make a fresh clean cut, put it in well drained sand and keep watering it. The sand should have nothing, no nutrition, nothing, right? Keep watering it, water it for next 15-20 days, and then when you take it out, it should have roots. That's the hope. Neha Khandelwal is asking, can you tell me this time sun is too harsh? So should we put all plants in direct sunlight as will it survive? In this case, I have to water every day because soil gets dry every day. So is it fine? Yes, if the soil is getting dry every day, it's fine to water every day. But just make sure you're watering enough so that the water is seeping through. Just don't water the top itself and think that I'm watering, but it's getting evaporated. Water early morning. That's another thing to do in this time. Early morning, I mean like before 9 o'clock, right? So that the sun is not harsh already. The other thing is we might feel the sun is harsh, but right now it's April till May end. The sun is not really harsh for plants. They are loving it. They are feeling what you feel on a winter. But as the sun will get harsher, say in June and July, we have to start misting the leaves. That's the thing. And what was the other question? Will the plant survive? Yes, they will survive. There was one more question there. Okay, this is the question. Okay, so I'm watering it every day. Is that fine? That was the other question. Yes, it's going to be fine. The sun is not that harsh right now. It will get harsher later, and it is okay. Perfect. Yes, Vaishali has described Dieffenbachia very correctly. NG Rao is saying my questions are going unanswered. Hello, Prakriti's Garden. Are you still there? In fact, we should have her. I was just saying once that for pests, she's the best person to answer. Please recommend summer flowers that last more. Web on the plants that we discussed, Ankur. Meenal, we did okay. Do a section on plants that can be grown in bottles, water that we discussed. Summer flowers, I would say zinnia is there, marigold is there, sadabahar is there, vinca, periwinkle, sadabahar in all colors. I like that a lot. And bougainvillea is flowering. I think now I see my bougainvillea flowering now. And chitra, which Seema Kapoor, we answered that question. Will bougainvillea grow? Okay. Manoj, are there any questions you can pick out? Because I am having a tough time, because every time I'm scrolling up, the new comment comes, it goes down, and I have a issue reading all. Doesn't matter. I'll summarize, and I'll generally talk about a couple of other tips and things that are worth noting here. And first and foremost, yes, summer is coming. And yes, your plants are going to need more water, but that's okay. Don't keep them in direct sun if you really feel the sun is really harsh. But at the same time, keep them in some shaded area so they can get some sunlight, some warmth. Actually, warmth is another thing that we miss out in the whole concept of light, water, and nutrition. Why is a shaded area different from an inside area? You get it? The shaded area still has a higher temperature than an area which is not getting sun. Like somebody is asking for coleus. Coleus likes the tropical climate, right? Or when we have planted ginger, ginger loves temperatures. And how can we ensure that it gets temperatures is, even if we don't get direct sun, at least let's put where the air and the everything is going to be warm or warmest according to what we can provide. That's the importance of having a shaded area in general. So that's important. And the other thing is, I talked about self-propagating plants like money plant, like snake plant and Raphis palm and say Song of India, where they are already propagating themselves at the root level and creating new pups or new small plants in the same pot. So when you have to repot them, you can divide them and then make two separate ones. And one of the ways to root anything, we talked about Bougainvillea, but then we can talk about many other varieties, like even for snake plant. I mean, if we cut it from, even for say snake plant, but even for say Song of India, is to put it in river sand, well drained river sand with no nutrition, no nothing in general. Put it and water it well in a well drained soil. That way, roots develop to find nutrition, to get a hold, and that's a great way to root fast. And some of the plants which we talked about, you can keep in water. One is Syngonium. And somebody asked me, how can I keep my plants in water if they don't survive? I'll come to that. So one is Syngonium, money plant, wandering Jew, the philodendron variety, which resembles the money plant, Monstera adenosii, and things like that. We'll do a video on this so that you can see and learn. Then somebody asked, my money plant dies when I move it from water to soil, and that's where I say, don't do it. Please don't do it. If your plant is now growing in water. I'm not talking about rooting. I'm not saying what we did for mint. We cut the mint, we put it in water for 7 to 8 days. Wait a second. And laptop was closing. So I'm not talking about mint where we made cuts and put it in water for 7 to 10 days. It developed new roots. No, not about that. That's the rooting process. Then we can move it to soil. But if you already have long roots, a whole system of roots like this or something like this, you can't move it back to soil now. The plant will die. So don't do that, right? If you have to move a plant to soil, the best time to do it is just when you start seeing maybe 1 centimeter of roots, not after that kind of a thing. And how to make sure that your plants survive in water. We'll do proper session on root or water propagation. But let me go and check out the YouTube video. I've talked about exactly this, how to find nodes and how to understand which plants can propagate in water. Like which plants I can keep in water just by looking at the plant. How can I know that? And if I can put it in water, how can I do that? So that's for today. I did try to take a lot of questions. I can still see a lot of sad faces and sad smileys. And I'm sorry for that. I still hope that we could take in much more questions, many more questions than what I'm able to take normally during our regular live sessions. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And do consider sharing our channel. This time I'm not even saying about this video. I know, I mean, you come, you love the video, you like it, and you do all that. That's really good. Essentially, why it helps us, I'll tell you that. Because I think that is important to understand. It is not because I can see from your comments and questions that what you are liking. But if we have to break this gap and reach out to new people, we have to depend upon YouTube's algorithm on how can it recommend our video to more people. Like I saw this video, the live session that we did about growing coriander. That suddenly got recommended to a lot of people. I think in one day we had 1,000+ views or 1,200 views in less than 24 hours. While normally our videos get 400 to 500 views in first day, and then it gradually grows. So it's all probably because of the comments you put in, because of the likes you did, and it's essentially saying together only we can reach out to more people and build this tribe. I really imagine that just what we have done on Instagram, on YouTube, I personally want it to be a very engaging community. That's why I'm doing another thing which you might really like. And once we hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll be able to put short story videos here for 7 days. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that a lot. I feel on YouTube, besides videos, there are 2 other things that the YouTube gives. So Ritushi is here. I posted her photo today on the community tab of this channel, or you would see it. She's wearing a Lazy Gardener t-shirt and is surrounded by plants. Caption it. And that is what I want to use this platform. I'm loving it. I'm loving that. I've never knew there's so much on YouTube. You can create a poll, you can post something, you can create stories, you can do live, you can post videos. We're going to explore it all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this and for being sunshine in my day every day at 4 o'clock. I'll see you here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Every day, 4 o'clock, 21 days with Lazy. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.